Hi guys. So today we are going to talk about IELTS listening section. I had taken the test in 2019 and I had scored 7.5 bands in listening section. But in 2021 when I took the test, I scored 9 bands. I used some tips and tricks which improved my score drastically. We are going to be talking about these tips and tricks today, and I'm going to give you 5 of these tips which are tried and tested and is going to help you improve your score. Let's get started. So the first tip that we are going to talk about today is reading the questions. This is something not many students know, and there is no institution that is going to tell you about this trick. The trick is when the speaking section starts and they talk about the questions, you have to start reading the questions. It doesn't matter how many you end up reading before the questions actually start speaking, but it's important that you read as many as you can. Because when you read, you know what kind of questions they are asking. So when you're hearing the speaking section, you exactly know what they're talking about and you are able to answer them. So it is very, very important that you read the question as and when you get time and not waste that time on anything else. This is going to help you score that extra 1 or 2 marks. The second tip today that we are going to talk about is the blank section. The questions that are asked in the blank form, there are 2 things to it that you can do. The first thing that you can do with them is predict an answer. Now, how can you predict an answer? There has been an example that is done for you. One should consume dash-based diet. Here we can predict the answer that they are talking about some nutrition-based diet or any word that is related to nutrition. When we hear the recording, we can actually understand what they're trying to say. So here the answer is fairly predictable. Second example is, the rabbit's dash needs to be checked weekly. Here we're talking about animals and their regular checkups. So what is going to be checked weekly? It is only the health of the rabbit that can be checked weekly. So in questions like this, we can predict the answer. And when we hear the recording, we can actually make out what the answer would be. Now the third trick that I'm going to share with you usually takes place in the first section of the listening. Now what happens is they're talking about some personal details. One person is noting down the details of the other person. And there is usually a question asked where they correct themselves. It goes like, my phone number is 7821. Oh no, wait, it's 7812. So here it is important that you listen to the recording till the end of the line before filling up the form. When you write the answers, you have to correct it as they corrected in the speaking. The fourth trick that we can apply to our questions is the kind of questions that we usually get with various options. There is a question and there are few options as an answer. It could be 3 options, it could be 4 options, it could be 5 options. Now in such a question, step 1 will apply where you will have to pre-read the question. Also step 2 can apply to it. You can predict an answer. Sometimes the answers are fairly predictable if you pre-read them. And when you hear about it, you instantly know what kind of answers you have to give. But there is a third trick that you can apply to this. I'll give you an example. Alice and Nike went to the library and found there are 3 options to the question. A. Notice to the club. B. Banned book on cultural studies. C. An old friend as a librarian. In the listening section, the speaker will talk about all 3 options, such as Alice and Nike went to the library and found an old librarian friend who told them about a new photography club. He handed over the notice of the club to their friends. Alice asked the old librarian friend about a banned book on cultural studies. The friend told Alice that the book no longer exists in the library. So the answer would be C, an old friend as a librarian. So here The speaker talks about all three options and makes opinion about each. And that is how you can conclude the answer. In such an example, you see the speaker will talk about all the options one by one and also will give out his own opinions about the options. And we have to find the answers when we hear the opinions. It is very simple to answer these kind of questions if you hear it properly. The fifth trick that we are going to talk about today applies to the question of maps. A question usually comes in the listening section where a map is given to you and you have to position certain places on that map. There will be areas which will be marked from A to G and you will be able to mark it only if you know the directions. North, east, south and west. If the directions are on your fingertips, it will not be very difficult for you to mark them. Sometimes the speaking goes like, you take north from the main position, then turn east, and from east direction turn right. So in such a situation, if you know the directions well and they are on your fingertips, it's going to get extremely easy for you to mark them. So guys, we've already talked about 5 tricks that you can apply to your listening section to up your score drastically. But there is a 6th trick that I'm going to share with you today. The 6th trick that you can apply is to learn the symbols like dollar, pound, at the rate, slash, hash, dash, and hyphen. These symbols are particularly important in listening section because you are asked questions about cost, money, and other things. If you do not remember these symbols, how to write them, the answer will not be correct. You will lose the point of the question for which you already know the answer, but just because you do not remember the symbols, you will lose that point. So just remember these symbols, and we are going to apply these 6 tricks to our listening section and score the best of points. If you liked our video, do tell us in the comment section. Subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon so that you can get all the videos that we upload. I've been teaching IELTS for the last 7 years and we're sharing our WhatsApp group number, the link in the description below. So we'll be back with more fun videos and thank you for watching.